Hi everyone, it's Claire here, and I'm just talking about the new moon in Virgo, which is coming on the 3rd of September in London at 2:56 a.m. or 9:56 a.m. USA on the 2nd of September New York Eastern Time, or 6:56 p.m. LA on the 2nd of September Pacific USA time. So it's actually, I've looked at three astrologers, Tanya Gabrielle, Pam Gregory, and Molly McCord. And Tanya's very into numerology, and she's talking about this creates an 11:11 portal because the sun and moon together are 11 degrees of Virgo. So that's kind of 11:11. But it gives a feeling and sense of openness and a psychic vibration, but to focus on the present moment. And Pluto also moves to Capricorn on the 1st of September, which is today. And it's been there since 2008, but it keeps going towards Aquarius. So the final visit to Capricorn is about now, and this is for over 200 years. So it will be moving to Aquarius a bit later. And the new moon has Capricorn close. So in 2012, Tanya talked about Sun and Moon merged with Saturn, and it was a big stellium then. And in the 1500s, similar, but Martin Luther broke from the Roman Catholic Church. So that was like huge astrology at the time. So it could be a major stellium, major things happening. Saturn is opposite the Virgo new moon, so opposing it. And Saturn is responsible and grounding, and it's very profound, this one, so she thinks. And it's obviously Saturn in Pisces is opposing Virgo. They're quite different signs, really. But Pisces and Saturn require people to take responsibility and to address illusions, but to create a peaceful life and a spiritual connection, and but not to be too drawn into illusion. So really Saturn and Virgo have resolve in them, and really means about being less distracted. So also very good for clearing things. So Virgo's good at clearing stuff and sorting things out. And so to clear our closets, discard what's not needed, and it sort of links to feng shui and clearing spaces and things. Mercury is direct, not retro, but and in Virgo it's exalted, so meaning it's made to feel good. And the retrograde was big, this last Mercury retrograde, where it went really, slowed down, but it feels good now. So I think quite a lot of people might have felt that Mercury retrograde, but it is over now. And also Mercury is close to Chiron, which is good for healing. So she also talked about Neptune sextile Pluto, and Neptune and Pluto 29 degrees in Pisces and Capricorn. So a real urge to do things differently. And Pluto is leaving Capricorn, sitting at 29 degrees, which is the critical degree, which means it's about to leave. So you always feel that sign more. And it really means letting go of things is important. And Neptune is spiritual, and Pluto is about transforming and empowering. So replacing things, and really she talked about the truth will set us free. Then we're on to Pam Gregory, who's a British astrologer, and she lives in London. She got a very complicated looking chart, which is completely beyond me. I'm not actually an astrologer. I just summarised some of the astrology because this is incredibly interesting. But she talked about September the 2nd, Uranus moves retrograde stationary. So it's like a huge ship, slowing down. And it can be linked to earthquakes, seismic stuff, political or financial kind of earthquakes, aviation shocks, surprises, truth and awakening, which is very much about Uranus, even Kundalini awakening, and authenticity, very much about finding out who we really are. And if you're a fixed sign, one of like Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius and Taurus, and if you're 28 degrees or of those fixed signs, You could feel something breaking through and about expressing yourself more. If you're in a stale relationship, job, or so on, it's best to really follow the feeling that you're getting, or it may happen naturally, which might be, even more seismic, really. So the 2nd of September, Pluto tips back into Capricorn and stays at 20 degrees of Capricorn. And the last time in Capricorn, it was 29 degrees of the sign. It sort of may feel that intense pressure may kind of mount up a bit. And Uranus is about quick changes, but Pluto is about deep, profound change and power plays with empowerment, self-empowerment as well. The 2nd of September, it's rebellious energy demanding freedom, and the last day of the top-down power thing, because she's been talking a lot, and if you follow me as well, obviously I'm echoing what she's saying about Capricorn and the top-down structures, which are now being kind of really challenged. But there may be this last-minute attempt of top-down rules, and we've had quite a new government change with Labour coming into Great Britain. There's quite a few new changes happening, so it might link with that. You may feel the world going backwards, but later that power shifts back to the people, and it will be held, the power be held more locally, which is in line with the Aquarius energy, which will fit with the astrology. And Pam Gregory suggests find local groups, and she talked about people's councils in Britain, which are doing a really good job to kind of represent the people as the old systems collapse. And Saturn, Uranus, Pluto are all closer to the Earth and will be felt more strongly, and like endings and beginnings are kind of being felt a lot. And yeah, she talks about set new intentions now, because it's the new moon obviously as well. And Virgo is about getting things right, exact, order from chaos, categorizing things and tidying up, decluttering things, and cleaning up health. It's ruled by Mercury. Energy, detoxifying, purifying, and old energy blocks coming up, linked to purification as well, cleaning up our diets, cleaning up addictions, day-to-day routines, finding joy in the small things. So things like hugging a tree, singing, walking, anything that makes, is a small thing which makes a difference and brings joy. And humility is linked to Virgo, and integrity, simplicity, and authenticity and sovereignty are all themes at the moment. And Saturn opposes the Sun and Moon, possibly more rules and regulations. And she talked about immune systems, viruses, possible resurgence, rules on virus. Didn't like the sound of that, having gone through what we did before. She talked about January 2020 when Saturn was involved before in the pandemic, and this aspect now may be checked upon, and that position kind of checked. But also truth, justice, and all voices are heard. She talked about Aries, so you might have heard me mention that before, and Pluto and sovereignty and power with Pluto. Mercury square to Uranus, so that means genius ideas and lateral thinking might be apparent. And Mars is within 4 minutes of Gemini, and that's the crisis degree. And Cancer, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, cardinal signs might be linked in with big events, but be careful with angry words and spats on social media. And there are angry words re health, maybe, water. Pisces linked to toxic water, battles at sea, Neptune and Pisces. But with Neptune and Pisces, it can be a bit smoggy and can't see things that clearly. So drop into the heart, she suggests, to find truth. And then Jupiter about legitimacy of government and top-down structures. And she talked about some mythological links with different planets, but particularly she was talking quite a lot about, if I summarise, about Ceres, who made Earth barren as Persephone went to Hades. Ceres struck a deal with her to get her back, but she ate 4 pomegranate seeds, so she goes back for 4 months in the winter. But we need to learn new methods, and she thinks that links to Ceres, which is very linked to harvest, so new methods coming through to produce food and things. And there was other things she mentioned which are quite sort of a bit different to talk about, but things like Maki created Easter Island, but it was wrecked by sailors, but it was turned around to be a thriving ecosystem. And there might be a sort of symbolism there with us looking at ecology, the ecosystem, and turning it around. And Virgo is also linked with the harvest and grains. And what are we harvesting, really? And that is this time of year, it's harvest time, really. There's loads happening in the external world, as she said. So drop into our heart, use breath work, go inwards and keep things simple. And then we're finally on to Molly McCord. And Molly talked really about new intentions, refreshing, resetting, small improvements, what's healthier for us, remove clutter, reduce overwhelm, things like the home, the office, the car, closets, and what are our priorities. To be disciplined, like Virgo's quite disciplined, early, not late, change routines, and about that Sun and Moon opposing Saturn. So the slow down and this internal push-pull feeling to get something done. And also Virgo can be quite cerebral in the brain, so maybe take a step back and see the bigger picture, linking in with Pisces, maybe Saturn, to see what decisions need making. And with the new moon, to act quickly. And are we too focused on details, so see bigger dreams? So we may need downtime. And are we over-giving and over-processing? I do feel quite overrun at the moment with so much stuff has gone on and needing a rest. So I think that was mentioned, might feel like that, and being a bit slower at this new moon. And say no thank you, we're at capacity kind of thing. And the new moon begins the eclipse season. So you've got the lunar eclipse coming with the full moon, 17th and 18th of September. And we can focus on the Pisces energies. So tune into those and focus on essential stuff. Pisces full moon eclipse will be easier. Then just look at the essential things, in other words. And Mercury trines Chiron, so that's to do with the wounded healer and healing. And Chiron helps us heal trauma and be more self-accepting and authentic. And very links to, at the moment, confidence with Leo and Aries, ready for new healing ways and endeavours. And she talked about fire or heat in the body and calming it, with Chiron linking in, and self-loving messages, and about leadership. Even if you thought you weren't a leader, you might be. So, look at that. And she talked about there's Uranus, Mercury, 27 degrees of Taurus, a kind of spicy square, rebellious feeling. So be careful of the power of our words, and a bit of a shake-up maybe. But Virgo says don't say too much or be too reckless. And it's a bit about energized words, really, and healing the inner child. And she talked a bit about so what you thought through in August heals, bring that through and heal, not harm, and gain wisdom. That links with Jupiter energy. And there's a powerful shift with the Capricorn themes to November, with the earth signs particularly. More information really sitting with that, with the Capricorn and mastery and authority. So the bigger picture comes forward, but Pluto in Capricorn, Uranus, Taurus gives us, helps with that. And really about focusing on what you can prioritize and don't be distracted. And obviously there is a lot going on. And when I looked at that chart that Pam Gregory showed, it was very complicated. Virgo says choose one priority, reset when needed, and not too much pressure. Don't feel guilty if you can't get everything done, and focus on what you can do now. So just to say, sorry I didn't do the full moon, summary, but I was so busy myself and it's overwhelmed. So hopefully I'll be with you for the next full moon one around just after the middle of the month. So happy new moon in Virgo. Bye for now.